Okay, let's go ahead and get started with a very simple example. Jump to your Build a Module resource directory and copy the Pages folder. This is a module called Pages. And go ahead and paste it in your Sites, All, Modules, Custom directory. Okay, let's take a look at the structure of the files in this folder. So we have our steps folder, which we have for our other examples as well. And what we'll do is go through these numerically and just copy the code and paste them over our module file. We have our .module file, we have our .info file, and then we have a .inc file so we can demonstrate how to include pages in an external .inc file. Okay, what we'll do to begin with is open up our pages.module file, and it should be blank. And then go ahead and open up the first step, which is called string-based page. Okay, and let's go ahead and go through this file line by line. So we have some comments at the top, which is just standard for a module file. And then we have our first function. And this is an implementation of a hook called hook menu. And the structure is the name of our module, an underscore, and then menu. And what hook menu expects is an array of items that are menu callback functions. So what we're doing here is assigning those paths to callback functions and then giving some other details as well. And this is just a simple example of that. And like I said, we'll increase this in complexity as we go along. So first of all, we're taking an array called items and we're giving it a key of pages. The key in this case is the path. So when somebody goes to /pages on their site, they'll get our menu callback. And then we're assigning this an array. And the first item that we're passing it is the title. And this is the title that will display at the top of the page in the main heading on the document. The description is passed to give a few more details if somebody is hovering over the menu item in a variety of different contexts. Most of the time you won't see this. It's not output as HTML on the page when you visit it. The page callback is the function that's going to get called that Drupal will expect will hand off some content or at least some instructions on what to do next. An access callback allows us to define a function to check access to make sure that somebody can visit this page. In this case, we're just assigning it true, which means that anybody, even anonymous users, can visit this page. And finally, Drupal expects that this will be returned as an array, so we're returning this. Our next step is to generate our function that was assigned as our page callback. So we're going to be looking for pages_string, and that's what it is here. The reason why we are calling this string is because we can supply content to a page request in two different ways. One is through straight HTML, a string with HTML in it, or the second is through a build array, which is an array of content that can then be restructured by other modules later on. And our next example will cover that. Let me go ahead and scroll down so we can see the rest of the function here. Okay, so just to make a quick mention of the comment here, it says menu callback and then there's a semicolon and then a description of this page callback. Because functions can have a variety of different purposes, it's nice to give a comment when a function is assigned to a page callback. And so that's what this is, and this is a conventional way to do this in Drupal 7. Okay, all we're doing here is compositing some output and then returning the output. The output consists of a couple of paragraphs, so here's the first one, the second one, and then we're adding to it by using a theme function called themeItemList, and we're passing it an array of items and a title. We cover this particular function in the theming video, but what it does is take an array of items and it makes it a list, an unordered or an ordered list, and we can add a title as a heading 3 tag above the list itself. And then we're returning this as some output. So in order to demonstrate this code, go ahead and copy it and then paste it in your pages.module file and save it. Next, let's go ahead and go to our modules page and refresh it to make sure that our module gets loaded. Once it's refreshed, scroll down to the Build a Module section and select the Pages module, and then click Save Configuration. Okay, now our module is installed. What I'm going to do is jump back to the code and copy this path here. It's pages, but I just want to make sure we get it right. And then paste it in your path to the very right of the domain name. And here's our page. We have our 2 paragraphs, and then we have our item list with a title above. So this is what we expected.